What is up, lads? You're with Budgetmonk, and welcome to another update video. The year 1633. So you guys can see my dominance over North America looking really good, boxing out the Europeans. Unfortunately, we do have a lot of competition nowadays, and what I opted to do is actually colonize Australia, because if we're going to have a competition, I don't want to be traveling all the way out to this region of the world. So I'm opting to just, I guess there's nothing inland in New Zealand, so we're going to completely colonize New Zealand, and we've done all of Australia apart from Northern Australia, which I hope I can see at some point, quite frankly. But also I'm going to do the East Coast here, and then what will one day be the colonial nation will easily colonize the few provinces inland in Australia. But that's what I'm currently focusing on. And yeah, South America is kind of up for grabs still. There's quite a lot of gaps we would need to close. However, at least France is actually reformed, which is kind of hilarious because we have Deus Vult against him, or his colonial nation, French La Plata. We have Deus Vult against that, and same with British Brazil. Now, British Brazil, or the England, is actually colonizing the coastline, which is, if we're going to have enemy colonies, that's kind of ideal because it's boxing them out effectively after we take the colony for ourselves. However, the French are colonizing inland, so this is really, really frustrating. I don't know why they're doing that. He's trying to close this gap, I suppose, between these two kind of colonies within his colony, but it's annoying. At least the development's really low, and we did this really well, guys, because we are North American with our capital in Jamaica, and what that means is also this is an island. The reason I made this an island is that so you can never connect a land bridge with South America, because being on a different continent, but also a colonial region, we get 80% reduced culture conversion costs. So especially with these like 3 development provinces, I mean, they're absolutely trivial in terms of how much it costs to convert culture. So we're not too worried about that, but we are worried about the fact that it's just getting later and later, and they still have separatism and that kind of thing. But that's the new world for you guys, kind of going according to plan. Unfortunately, I wish we were further towards forming Rome. And this is what our assets currently look like. We just won a war over the Austrians, and I have to admit, guys, it's quite frankly the hardest war we fought this game, I would say. I think, yeah, dare I say, like, it was about as stressful as like our initial war against the Ottomans and stuff, but quite frankly, I only took 41 overextension, and it was absolutely brutal. The whole time I was terrified that the Commonwealth, who was the only ally helping us, would separate peace and would basically lose. Absolutely terrifying. I guess be careful what you wish for. Like, the situation with Austria, guys, who was Protestant, by the way, we bought him, is that he's got so much of Italy now. It's revolting. And we need to own all of this in order to form Rome. So that's what I was working away at, because he is actually, or was, the 3rd great power of the world, after he PU'd Hungary randomly at a late stage, fed Hungary, and absolutely fed himself. This dude had an epic comeback. Let's go ahead and look at the timeline. Like, Austria is one of my favorite nations, so I kind of like to keep an eye on him, but we've got incentive for him to actually do well, especially outside of the areas to form Germany, because we can use the mission tree once we form Spain to actually PU him. And so I want him to take land outside of the areas to form the Roman Empire in Germany that we can then eliminate in one war, because I'm frightened of just a time constraint right now, let alone other things. So you can see he actually initially lost this to Venice, but since then he actually recovered. He took out 1 random opium and 2 provinces back from Venice. He does eventually take even more land from Venice, but he's not been the emperor this entire time, so he's just a casual, chill nation here. Pretty weak, to say the least. And then we actually PU'd Bohemia. He contested it. Oh, so he did expand a little bit outside in the German region. And we took those 2 provinces. So as you could see, I mean, the Commonwealth has formed huge, powerful France. He's very much comparable to like the Italians. Very weak Austria, and much to my surprise, this dude just blew up more and more and more and more. I mean, let's go higher speed. but just remarkable, really remarkable. And PU'd Hungary, of course, and then fed Hungary, and he became one of the greatest powers in the world at the point in which that I actually attacked him. Let's see. Soon here he will sort of be at his peak after he takes out Venice. Look at that. Absolutely revolting, this guy. Still not the emperor. And he has started a golden age, a golden era, increasing his morale. Absolutely brutal. Of course, he's part of the Empire, so when we attacked him, the Emperor backed him up, and the Emperor is freaking Brandenburg. Despite being weak, as the Emperor gets that bonus, and this dude had about near 40,000 troops, being Brandenburg, obviously extremely strong, and this was absolutely brutal. I mean, I was confident going in with the Commonwealth on our side. I thought, Commonwealth's got good quality, you know, and we would be fine, but I mean, we only ended up taking 41 war score over a long war, guys. I'm sorry to say, it probably took about 8 years, or longer. So this is the moment in which, I mean, everything's going according to plan. I have the admin available. We weren't currently overextended. Our war before that, we took a big chunk of southern France, which was much more satisfying. But we really need to be chunking these regions in order to form Rome. That's what we currently need to be doing, and it's just really stressful. It's really stressful, guys, because we also nowadays have a lot of efficiency in regards to cultural conversions. So, of course, we have the policy 20%. We have the 25% from religious. We currently have a parliament, and we have the parliamentary bonus. And, of course, the innovativeness that we do have. So, yeah. It's pretty efficient, but the problem is, guys, you can see we're ahead of Diplo as well. We're ahead of time. So we've spent it very efficiently, but we're simply running out of areas that we own that need to be converted. This is a huge issue. I am currently, you can see everything that we're converting right now, and this is the current state of what the culture looks like. Portugal has been converted. But there's simply not that much separatism coming off. Like, obviously, some of these, or most of them, are already being converted. The separatism that's coming away is few and far between. So, some of our best areas are like this. High development areas where we can spend our Diplo points, but do you see what I'm saying? We simply need to explode, guys. We're at the point in which we need to explode, and we did a really bad job here. It's 1633, you know, the difficulty level, the fact that Austria was just so strong. It's a rough game, guys, and I have other bad news as well, which is despite my efforts, I was unable to sponsor my heir on the Commonwealth. The main issue, of course, was that I was annexing a lot of subjects. We were diplo-annexing Portugal, etc. And so then you get the -3 reputation. I couldn't get my heir onto the Commonwealth. He is now no longer an elective monarchy or whatever. He's actually in a kingdom, so that's done. And as far as I'm concerned, we're going to have to annex all of this land. It's not good. It's not good. There was this inevitable issue here, which is we require Bulgaria to form Rome. So what I'm basically planning to do is try to exploit the Commonwealth to the best of my ability, have him help us, and then yeah, we're going to betray him, and myself and Russia combined will wreck him. Probably one of the final areas we'll take is Bulgaria, because he's a big boy himself. He's really, really strong. But that's pretty much the game, guys. It's stressful. It's really stressful. I don't know how realistic this is. If we compare it to the Austrian game, I want to say in my last update I was delusional with actually saying where we were in the Austrian game, but I've got a better mindset for actually remembering where we were in that game. And at this stage, we had obviously the entire empire under our grasp. We had cheesed in pretty much everything I'm boxing here, like the capitals and therefore everything else, into the empire. And we were on our way to forming Rome, and we were nearer to forming Rome. So obviously, our dominance over the New World was insignificant compared to what it is now. And ironically, that's actually what really set me up last time in the one culture, and that's what I just keep trying to remind myself, is that we did do it. We did conquer the world. We did do all this stuff with enough time and enough points available so we can do it again when I'm behind. But boy, are we behind, guys. We're really behind by comparison. I mean, all of this stuff needs annexing, all of it. There's very little I can do to kind of exploit the HRE or anything like that. So it's really going to be one for the ages if we can pull this one off, guys. In other news, we did effectively just complete the court and country disaster. We currently have over 65, which we just need to maintain for a few more months, because I believe it was Jan 24 when it actually occurred. So it's been a slow, rough period. You know, our unrest has been affected. Yeah. Well, I'll leave you guys with this so you guys can kind of get some insight into what I'm thinking. I'm currently incorporating Burgundy into my country, and the reason I'm doing that is to kind of delay the Diplo points that we're gaining. So we're only gaining 3 per month because I'm incorporating him to help us. And of course, there'll be 0 separatism in these areas, so that's going to give me more areas as a bit of a stimulus of where I can convert my land, some of which is adjacent to Castilian. The lowlands shouldn't be an issue at all, by the way. This is our only Dutch province, so if the Netherlands did defect, it would only be there, just FYI. And that's about it, guys. Bohemia, actually, because we're not European, technically, we can't incorporate him because I can't call his country up. So that's a bit of an issue, because that would be an option we would do as well, was start incorporating Bohemia into the country. But you can see there that we do have 8% chance of actually inheriting him on death. That would be significant. Otherwise, our heir is 4-5. That's pretty nice. The negative Diplo reputation sucks. And we're at a stage here, guys, where I'm starved for military points as well. So you can see we're not that far ahead in our military points. And I'm trying to complete offensive ideas. Our first military idea group, obviously really want that siege ability, but just the stuff in general. One of the biggest strengths to offensive is the 20% force limit. But unfortunately, I'm currently at a state where I'm very weak compared to my force limit. So the economy, although doing well, this is not a good example, because a lot of this war was... anyway, my trade will improve next month. But we're pretty strong economically, but not strong enough. And we're also very limited by our manpower also. My kind of thoughts are we need more military points to get more professionalism from more generals. And then basically slacken standards. That's how we usually go, which is I'm usually ahead of my military points, but this is just a really bad time. We just slammed so much harsh treatment in order to try to get the court and country disaster up and running. And otherwise, I'm diplo-vassalizing Liège, which is required to own all of these areas, which actually, once we form Spain, gives us the ability to PU Great Britain. And my plan is to take London and York first, and then PU what remains. In the same manner, I plan to take all of Italy and Vienne first, and then PU Austria. That's the plan. And that's it for the update, guys. It's coming down to the wire, or at least it's becoming more sort of... we can visualize how difficult it's really going to be. I mean, oh boy. Ming has completely imploded. So there's that. If anything, that's probably a bad thing, guys. You know, China is much more powerful when they're all split up and so on. So that's a bit of an issue. But there we go. I'm really skeptical, guys. I'm really, really skeptical. But wish me luck. What can I say? That's it. I'm going to push on. I'm going to do my damnedest. We're going to have to play real slow. There's going to be many more episodes or streams to come, because I'm going to be playing really slow. I'm going to be trying my absolute best to be really efficient here. And with that being said, I'll be live straight after posting this video. So I hope you guys come say hi if you're able to. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another update video.